Hey, this is Uncensored with Cesar, and I'm here with my guest, Lefemme Boue.
Hey guys, what's up? What's up out there?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going
That's good.
on?
Not much. So, can you tell me a little about yourself for viewers that don't know exactly who you are?
Okay, yeah, for sure. My name is Lefemme Boue.
Mm-hmm.
Most know me as Tasha Boue, original stylist of the stars. I started out in fashion, dressing Jamie Foxx for many years. Left dressing Jamie Foxx, started my own business. Now I'm an entrepreneur, as they say, in the common world, who's turned music and fashion into a collaborative duo. As you see it already happening, but just with more flavor, I kick a little flavor in. Yeah.
So your resume is looking really good then, because all that stuff you just named. So you're going up there then.
Yeah, you got to put that work in. You got to
And
put that work in.
and what was the main reason you started doing music? Why did you want to start doing this?
You know what? To be honest, I can't say I wanted to start doing this. You know how
Mm-hmm.
most people like have a passion and they're like, "Oh my God, I want to be like the greatest rapper alive," or whatever that case is.
Mm-hmm.
That that wasn't really how it happened for me. Like I had like a major epiphany. I was in the fashion business for many years, and my business partner at the time said, Tasha, you got to figure out what you're going to do. And I was like, well, what else can I do? I only know fashion. And I start really, really looking to the stars. You know how you go into like heavy prayer and you just start
Mm-hmm.
calling on any and everybody, like, okay, cool, I need some help here. I went in and I had a vision, and it was of me performing for millions of people. And I was like, what is that? I was like, oh no, that's not me. I don't know who that is, but maybe I'm about to dress a big star.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, even Jamie Foxx, would say to me, Tasha, if you put half of what you put into other people into you, you be out of here. And I made a decision for myself to go ahead and create a new part of me, a new version of myself for the next part of my chapter. And I put the work in, and I went in, and I had already been rapping since I was 13, so it wasn't new. Typically in life when you're doing things, if you really pay attention and you go back and look at what you've done before, it's all connected. So when I really, really started paying attention, I was like, oh, I've been rapping since I was 13. Like, this all makes sense now. So let me just go ahead and grab this microphone and do what I do best and entertain, because I've always been an
Mm-hmm.
entertainer.
Now, when you're in an industry like this, it's scary to think that anything could happen. You could lose your job and then you're down to nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Happens fast too.
exactly. So, like you were saying, the fashion industry is kind of fading out in a way. What goes through your head? Like, if you didn't have a plan, if you didn't have a backup plan, what would you do?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. If I didn't have a backup plan, I'd probably be like bartending at some restaurant somewhere, or like waitressing and trying to figure out how I'm going to at least make enough tips to
Mm-hmm.
support my lifestyle. But I've always had a very intricate lifestyle, if that makes sense. I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So I work to have the things that I want, which was how it all kind of happened anyway. I
Mm-hmm.
had already put so many years in the fashion industry. I knew how it worked. I knew it inside out, and I loved the people who loved me. And those were my biggest supporters. So being able to merge music with fashion became very seamless because I understood where it was going. So my backup plan was to create something that would be a house for people to come into, somewhere where they could come and they could buy into a lifestyle and buy into a community activism type deal,
Mm-hmm.
where they could all be themselves and everyone could stand for what they stood for, and we didn't have to force our lifestyles on anyone.
So, what is your goal in the music industry? What kind of, are you trying to send out a certain type of message? Are you trying to inspire different people? What is your goal? What are you trying to reach?
Great question. I love this. Yeah, I do have a very specific goal in mind. My music is very
Mm-hmm.
conscious. I know it'll probably be taken as it's like I'm a conscious rapper. I don't really think it's that. I think it's just more so understanding the vibration of where we are as a race and as a humanity. And I don't really want to be a part of the culture
Yeah.
that's supporting things that aren't really activating new people and new versions of
Mm-hmm.
people, and new versions of themselves rather. So I kind of create a sound that brings that fun feel, like what Missy did and what like Lauryn Hill did and like Bob Marley and a lot of those greats. I have a lot of people reference those people. I don't know if I see what they see per se. That's
Yeah.
usually how it is, but I do know what I'm doing when I'm creating the music, and there is a certain energy, and you'll see even when you watch me perform, you'll catch that vibe and that wave and know that it's a moment to kind of connect and to unify.
And what kind of music are you trying to put out? Because you just named Missy Elliott, you named Bob Marley. Are you Do you want to put out more current music, or you want to relate to back in the days where like Missy Elliott was out and stuff? Do you want to make her kind of music, or where are you trying to go with that?
Okay, well, For me, I don't ever compare myself to anyone else, so I can't really say I'm making music like Missy makes. There is always influence. You have to understand the people that influence you when you're creating. So when I reference them, it's from an influential standpoint. They've definitely caused influence, but my sound is unique. It hasn't been heard
Yeah.
before. I'm in my own lane, and I'm speeding down. I'm speeding down a one way right now.
And are you signed with the record label right now, or are you just doing it by yourself?
Big things coming right now. I'm independent. I do have some offers in place. I have some good partnerships in place. I do believe in a collaborative economic system, lifestyle, and that ecosystem of partnering with different people and different brands. So that's where I am right now. I don't have any obligations to anyone or anything like that. I'm free. I'm open. I'm working with anyone I want to work with. I'm creating the way that I want to create, and I kind of like living in that space right now.
So you would rather be doing your own thing than be signed? Because when you're, like you said, when you're not signed, you could do what you want. You could work with who you want. But when you're with a record label, you're kind of forced to work in a way with what they say.
Well, you know what? It's like a very unique situation, right? Because you want to be independent because you love the freedom, right? But then you want to be with the record labels because they have the machines and they can facilitate it. But now with the internet being so powerful, you can facilitate stuff yourself. So a lot of it is more so the legwork, right? So I prefer to do my own legwork, because no one's ever going to do anything the way you do it. And if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So I believe in that system, especially at this juncture. So it's not to say that I don't want a record deal. I'm sure I'll get a record label offer or a few record label offers, but I'm not pressing the issue right now. Right now, I'm just remaining independent and developing creatively so I can keep creating things that the people love and giving people what they want.
So do you have like a team that works with you, or you're doing everything yourself?
I have a team. Shout out my assistant and my creative partner here. Casimir, Dope Chicks, Shy Rasta from Chirac. I got a lot of dope people on the squad. I got a lot of people who believe in me, who've been supporting me over the years. These past 5 years have been the most intricate for me in building the Lefemme brand and getting people interested in buying into the lifestyle. And right now it's been doing quite well. I have a few music partners. I have a few guys that I create with that are like the best in the business. I write with writers who are writers for Ariana Grande, Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez, a lot of great people. So I'm enthralled in that community very, very well. But right now, the team is the team. It's small, it's lean, it works for me. If something else comes along, I'm open to it. But right now I kind of like the way I'm moving. I like my style right now.
But I feel being with a small team is kind of better than being with a big team, because like they say, when you're working with so much people, it becomes drama. It becomes problems because then other people are trying to outdo you in a way.
Right.
So it's better to work with people that are a small group, that people you trust.
Right.
But how was it transitioning from becoming a fashion person to the music industry? Was it a hard transition for you?
You know what? That's a perspective thing, actually. On one side of it, when I was going through the transition, it seemed almost impossible. It's like, no one's going to believe me. Who's going to buy into this? I didn't believe myself. But then when I start doing the work and understanding what it is and the power of belief and believing in yourself, I start to see it. And I started creating that new me that I knew lived inside of me that I just wasn't tapping into. So the transition in the beginning seemed hard, but when I got on the opposite side of it, I realized it was actually seamless, because I had already created a business and, solidified myself in an area that was already so vast and so great. So coming into music, obviously working for Jamie Foxx, I was doing both jobs. I was doing the fashion thing with him, and I was dressing him for his music and his tours. I've done 3 tours with him. So, it was all kind of there. I just couldn't see it because I was in it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm out of it, it's easy peasy. I mean, I'm here with you right now.
Exactly. And how is going on tour? How long were you on tour with him for, and how was it?
I went on 2 big tours and 1 mini tour, 3 tours in total. The 2 big tours that we did was amazing. Like, Fox is a big inspiration for me, and definitely gave me the ins and outs of the industry and helped me understand what it is to be a solid individual.
And do you get homesick being on tour?
You do get homesick, but that's why, the team is important, right? Because these guys are, creating things around you that give you that homely feel. So it makes it a bit more, it cushions the process a bit.
So let's say the fashion industry somehow came back to like a rise, like a really big rise. What would you prefer to do, music or fashion?
To be honest, I still do both. I still do both. Right now, I'm in the process of building a fashion app that I do believe will change the fashion industry. So, I'm like a female puff, like I'm coming out of meetings, building apps, jumping into the studio, spitting bars, flames every time, if I might add, and keeping it kosher. So I don't ever stop. When it's in you and you become it, you can never really drop it off that easy. So that's just a word for everyone. Like, your passion is your passion, and if you believe it strong enough, it will become you.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
And you recently won a contest, right? In Atlanta, was it?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I've won a few, actually. I won here.
A few.
I've won one here in LA. And then I just won another showcase, actually, with Atlantic Records about a week ago.
And how was that?
It was amazing. I did a performance for Atlantic Records. It was Sean Garrett and a few other guys. Really, really dope performance. I did a 10-minute set. It was really, really incredible.
And when you go on stage, especially for like a big contest like that, what goes through your head? Are you nervous? Are you calm? Like, this is something you're used to?
I don't think there's ever a way you could ever really be used to it, because you just don't know how people are going to respond to you. I'm not like, I'm very, I'm got my Kendrick thing on. I'm very humbled, so I'm not going out there thinking, oh my God, like I'm the greatest and you need to respond to me. People are people. So, the things that I focus on the most is like my rhymes. I'm focusing on my rhymes and making sure that I'm giving you every part of the energy that's needed when I'm spitting these bars.
Yeah.
There's not really room for much else to do or think about when you're in that moment and in that vibe.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself? Like, where would you rate your music?
Oh, my music's a 12.
Oh, you're off the scale.
I'm off the Richter.
But so you feel well, obviously, like you said, your music's at a 12. Do you want to go above that, or you're fine with where it's at?
Oh no, a 12 is just a what do you call that? Like a pit stop. I'm developing every day and I'm getting better every day. I got some new records that I'm about to drop now. I just dropped a new video. I'm about to drop a new video. I'm dropping it in the right ways. I got to show you before I leave. Of course,
yeah,
you guys got to get the exclusive. But I'll be dropping a video maybe in like a week or two with these guys from Paris. It'll go to BET Africa, Trez TV. We got some good looks with it. So look out for that. I'll be dropping some other things just shortly after. I got some really, really big records coming out.
So you're doing it big then, if, like you said, you're filming music videos, you're putting it out there. Do you get bad reactions sometimes from people?
I haven't, to be honest. I may have missed it, but I haven't gotten a bad reaction, to be honest. You know what? And that's an artistry thing, right? When you look like what you are and you've become what you are, no matter what, you can't miss a mark. You may not like the music, but you might like my shoes. You may not like my shoes, but you might like my shirt. You may not like my shirt, but you may like my spirit. You might like my energy.
So there's something
everyone's gonna like, and I think that that's what makes a true entertainer, right? Like, we love Beyonce because we know she gonna kill every time. We know what we're gonna get with her. We set an expectancy, and she passes the bar every time. That's self-development.
But does it scare you to think once you get yourself more out there, that you are gonna eventually get that? That's with everyone. Everyone gets hate. It doesn't matter who you are, how good you are. Beyonce gets hate.
I mean,
does that scare you to think you're gonna get people like that?
I don't live in fear. I don't live in fear in any area of my life, and I'm open to people's opinion. We're human, and I think that's like a great humanity factor. If everyone loved me everywhere I went, it would be something wrong. You'd have to be like, okay, who is this? Like, what's going on here? It's a little strange. So I think that just comes with the territory. That's just how the grounds are of the industry. Like, today they love you, and the same people that put you up is when you fall, they'll be, still have something to say. It's kind of that thing. I just keep like a really strategic and strict focus on my goal and myself and my development, not allowing too many things to enter. Because when you buy people's opinion, you buy their lifestyle. So I suggest when you're listening to these people that you really understand who they are and where they're coming from when they're speaking to you.
Because they're not going to be the ones paying for your stuff in the end. And
that part.
You're, like you said, you film music videos with people from Paris, right?
Yes.
Do you have to pay for that yourself since you are not signed, or do they just do it because they believe in who you are?
Man, that's an amazing question. That gives me an opportunity to share my journey. It's just favor, to be honest. Like, I've been blessed enough. God's given me like many opportunities where people have just found me or seen me out and have been so intrigued that they want to work with me. And these guys, they put their money up. They fly from Paris. They spend their own money to fly here. They rent the cameras. They pay the crew. They rent the cars. They do everything. I don't put any money up, and it's all on belief. That's how you know know something will work, right? So all it really is for me to do is just to keep thriving and keep developing so that they can have something to keep buying into, because you're not really buying into the music, you're buying into the people. So when you're buying this stuff, you really got to understand your perspective and your point of view and who they are. So I think for me, it's more so like understanding my position. You know, I've had some incredible opportunities being in this industry, and I've had a lot of people who believed in me along the way. I mean, look, I walked in here and I know the woman who's running the joint. Didn't even know. You know, it comes back around full circle. That's why you got to do everything right. So, you know, I kind of got some dope situations at hand that I just really, really feel good about.
And when they come down here, like, how is it? How was that call for you the very first time they did call you to film a music video for you?
Well, to be honest, it was interesting because I don't speak French and the director doesn't speak English.
Are you serious? So how do you guys communicate?
We have a mediator, actually, which is crazy because I worked on Spider-Man when I was working with Jamie. And, you know, I love French food. I was eating at this French restaurant every weekend that I had weekends off. And this guy was noticing me come in there. And I tend to think I'm moving like incognito. But, you know, I guess I stick out more when I try to move that way as opposed to me just walking in normally. And he noticed me and he came up to me and he spoke to me and he spoke English. And there was an African guy that worked there and he knew I was in fashion. We all exchanged contacts. Cut to 4 years later, I'm doing music now. He lives in LA. He's a camera guy and photographer. And he introduced me to the guy who's the director. The guy who's the director that lived in Paris heard my music, asked this guy, who is this girl? She's going to be big. I want to shoot every video. And he connected us, and he's our mediator. So I have like a mediator, a translator type deal to communicate with the director.
But does it make you feel good? Like, are you proud of yourself knowing this guy is investing so much in you, flying from Paris, everything? He doesn't even speak your language, and you're not even, like, you're not signed or nothing yet. How does that make you feel knowing someone believes in you that much?
Man, you know what? Give thanks, man. Give thanks because, you know, I always go back to this. It's just favor. It's opportunity. It's windows. We all have to jump through these windows of opportunity. And sometimes you don't understand how that's created, but it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So, you know, I know what type of work, I know what work I put in. I know what I've done. And I've sown some major seeds in people, you know, where I know it will come back and I don't have to look for it. It comes back just with me waking up every day and having an opportunity. So I know that the belief that they have in me just supports the belief that I already have in myself. So it allows me to work just that much better, just that much better of a vibration, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And do you still talk to Jamie Foxx and all of them? Are you still in contact with them, or are you?
Yeah, I speak to Fox. Fox is like my big brother, man. That won't ever change. I actually was at his house for, what was it, like Thanksgiving and New Year's, actually. And I'll probably be out there in a few weekends for pool volleyball. You know, it's about to be summer in LA. Got to get the pool volleyball joint going. So yeah, we all cool. We family, man.
And if one artist called you, an artist you really want to work with, who would that artist be and why?
If an artist called me, you know what? I really, to be honest, my sound is so unique. I feel like I'm going to captivate a few different genres of people. But I think the first person I'm really coming at right now is Drake. You know, that's my friend. He's been my friend for years. And I really, really look at him as like, you know, the foundation of my formula.
Yeah.
You know, and his response and his genuine, authentic approach to the game. And I think that that's something that we're missing. And we're missing that in female artists. So I'm going to bring that to the table. And me and him can kind of cook up some things and take over the whole, you know, take over the whole playground.
And does he give you like advice on what you should do next?
To be honest, right now, he doesn't even know that I do music.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I just saw him at Coachella. I was at Coachella at the Neon Carnival, and I saw him. And you know what? We're all moving so fast, right? Because in the industry, we all have our lives. We're all trying to get here, got to do this, got to do that. So everyone's moving so fast. So it's like, you know, when you're friends with someone genuinely, you're not trying to sell them your music or trying to tell them what you're working on. It's more so like, how you feeling? How you been? What's going on?
Exactly.
You know? And so that conversation kind of lingers in the back end because you don't really understand where the value comes in at until you built it. So I haven't even had the opportunity to have that conversation with him, but which is so great because when he sees it, it'll be just that much of a better response.
He'll be surprised.
Because he'll be surprised. And it shows that we all got to put our work in, right? You can't depend on nobody else. You can't go put someone's jacket on and become them to to ride their coattail and take what they did when they put their work in. You got to put your work in. Then you meet them where they are. That's why people say, I'll meet you at the top. Because no one can't take you to the top. You can only take yourself to the top.
Exactly. And how did you come up with your name?
Lefemme Boue. Lefemme Boue came from, obviously, root word Lefemme. It came from a European television show called Femme Nikita, and it was about a woman who was an assassin, and she got into a car accident, and she got taken by this company, and they turned her into like this crazy, like, she's an assassin, but she's like a warrior, basically, right? And when I was watching the show, I was like, oh my God, this woman is vicious. This is crazy. Like, and the show was like done in like the 80s type deal, like early 90s maybe. So people don't really understand the power of it because it kind of like came and went. But I was researching it and I'm like, man, she's like a Jedi. Like, this is Jedi Bruce Lee-esque. I'm like, that's me. You know, I'm an assassin in the game. You know, people don't see me coming. They don't understand what it is that I bring because they haven't seen it yet. And your mind can't fathom something that you haven't seen. So I know that when I come, it's going to be a shocker. So, you know, I think we're all on the same vibration, you know, the Kendrick Lamars of it. We all, you know, we all understand what it takes and what the game is requiring right now.
Exactly. And there's a lot of drama that goes on in this industry, especially in the industry you're trying to get into or you're into already. Does that scare you to think one day that could be you in all that drama?
Nah. I mean, you know what? It's all a lifestyle thing. And, you know, like I say, I don't live in fear. So I don't really have a thing that I'm like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen. Or, oh my God, like, that's not me. I'm like, how can I make this happen? I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's like, oh, today I got to make this happen. So I'm not worried about what's going to happen because what's going to happen is inevitable. You can't control that. So people being people is what it is. And that's my speak. You know, my speak is to understand unity. I want us to understand unity and humanity because that's really what it's about.
And were you born in California?
I was not born in Los Angeles, born and raised in Miami-Dade County, North Miami, to be exact. Shout out to my city, 305 in the building all day.
And why did you move here? When did you move here?
I moved here because I got my job with Jamie Foxx, crazy enough, and I was 21 years old.
21?
21 years old, and I've traveled the world 3 times, working on my 4th.
So how did you get in contact with him? How did you even get started? Because now I'm wanting to know this.
This is crazy. You know, they say there's no testimony without a test, right? So I had a test. You know, my life before this, my previous life. You know, some of us, we lived 2 to 3 lives in one lifetime. My previous life wasn't the best. You know, I was in the streets. I was living crazy, man. It was just a crazy ordeal. And my mom was just like, wore out. She was like, you are going to kill me early. Like, why are you doing this? And I went to her one day and I remember saying like, you know what, I'm gonna change my life. You know, I had dreads. I was like, I'm gonna get a corporate job. I'm smart. Let me just go do this office job situation. And I remember walking down the street because before any of this, I was a dancer. So I was a dancer and choreographer making up routines for me and my group. We were doing shows all up and down Miami, Florida. And I would dress us, do all of our choreography and all that. And we had a show one night and we were at my friend's house. And it was on the opposite side of town where I wasn't supposed to be at, which was crazy because I was like, oh my God, am I going to die today? Like, is this the day it's all over? Because I heard gunshots. But I heard gunshots and no one was running. So I'm like, what is going on? People are not running. We are in the hood. What is happening? So I start walking up the street and it was 3 people walking towards me. And it was at the time I didn't know, but these 3 women were working on the movie and Jamie was shooting Miami Vice. And I had no clue. And they were going to go get in a set van. And I remember walking up to the van and I jumped on the van and I was like, man, where are you guys going? I'm going with y'all. And they were like, ma'am, can you please get off of our van? And I was like, nah, man, where y'all going? Where are y'all going? What y'all doing over here? And they were like, oh, we're going to go get our car. We're coming back. We're going to come back and come see you. I was like, nah, I won't be here. I got a show to do. I'll be gone by the time y'all get back. They were like, nah, you'll be here. So lo and behold, of course, I was there. They came back and they rolled the window down, and all my friends went up to the car, and I could hear them saying, "Where's the girl who was here first?" And they called me. They were like, Tosh. I came over. They were like, "Who are you?" I was like, "I'm Tasha. Who are y'all?" And I'm asking the girl, "Is that your mom?" And she's like, "No, that's not my mom." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, whatever. What y'all up to? Where y'all going?" They're like, "Oh, we're going to get some food." Long story short, that ended up being Jamie's sister and makeup artist.
Oh my God.
And it changed my life. They literally, I hung out with them every day for about 6 months in Miami. They got to know me as an individual. I didn't know anything about them. And they were flying to LA for New Year's. And they were like, "You should come to LA." And I literally packed up every piece of clothing I owned into 2 suitcases. I got on a plane to Los Angeles, and I never went back.
And it's so crazy to think that if you were never that brave to even jump on, I don't know what went through your mind.
It
to
was
jump
actually
on that
called a
bus.
set van. I was so embarrassed because it was a set van. Now, obviously, being in the industry, I understood it, but I had no clue. So that explains why the people were looking at me so crazy. I'm like, "Why are they looking at me so crazy?" Because I'm hanging on this van. It's just a van. They're like, "Ma'am, this is a work van." But yeah, it was definitely divine. Synchronicity at its best for sure. And I think that situation was a catalyst to me really, really, truly seeing my talents and understanding that I had the power to recreate the life that I wanted to live. They say if you don't like what's happening, create something else.
And you said just before you were talking about this that you were a troubled kid yourself, right?
Yep.
So
Yep, for
there's
sure.
many troubled kids that are going the wrong way. They're not going down the right path. Since you were in their position at one point in time, would you like to give back to them, or you feel they had to figure that out by themselves on how to get on the right track?
Well, to be honest, the music is just a conversation piece for who I truly am as an individual. My goal in life is to be a huge philanthropic catalyst for the planet. I want to be a part of a lot of homeless activations, activating, better teaching systems for children. I am really into the youth. I do a lot of speaking at high schools and elementary schools to children. I'm really into that. That's what I spend my free time doing when I'm not building apps or stuff like that. But I really, really heavily congregate in those communities. I'm right now working on going to Uganda to help build wells. That's more so my approach.
So you like to give back. You like to help others out. Then
Yeah.
see, that's good. And I always see you at Venice because is it Venice you're always at? Because I do follow you on social media, and I always see your pictures like you're on rocks or you're doing something.
Yeah, I love nature. I'm like a super weirdo. And, when you hear the music, you'll understand that what I'm doing is giving you a snapshot of the life that I lived.
Yeah.
And it sounds like everything else you guys hear, but I'm also telling you what it is to be on the opposite side of the spectrum because we all have opportunity and choice. It's just about the way you strategically align them. So, I spend a lot of time outside. I spend a lot of time walking in the grass and, everyone who sees me loves my stones. I always have on stones and I always want to just be as grounded and as connected as I possibly can be so that I don't miss anyone.
And was that something you were like raised to kind of do? Because usually when people want to give back or they want to do something like that, it's because they were doing it. They seen other people do it like when they were younger or something. Have you?
Man, you know what? Shout out Mary Marshall.
So there was
The
someone.
second, my mom, greatest thing that ever happened to me. She did an amazing job. We fed the homeless since I was 12 years old. So, my mom would literally almost like take food out of our mouth and give it to them. And I thought she was like crazy. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But as I got older, I began to understand the concept of homelessness and people who do not have or who lack rather, because homelessness is just a title. These people are people who were people in situations that we were in who sometimes or somehow something just went another direction. So you can't really place judgment on them. And they're the people that are judged the hardest, right? We ride off the freeway. They're asking for money. We prefer to judge them than just without the thought go in our pocket and at least give them $1 or 50 cents or whatever you have, And that's more so where I stand. I don't force my lifestyle and my beliefs on anyone. This is just the way I live, and I create an environment around me that sustains that mark and that quota.
And how does it make you feel? Because I always hear people say, "Oh, I mean, they have the chance to get jobs. They have the chance to do this, but they don't because they consider them lazy." How does that make you feel to hear that?
I don't take anything personal when it comes to them.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that, if you speak ignorantly, it will shine through.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these people, they have different situations. Some of them are, have mental illness. Some of them are veterans who just, they just they can't sustain their lifestyles. Some of these people are people who choose to be homeless, who choose to be outside, who like living outside and then enjoy that lifestyle. There's a lot of different things going on out there. And then until you are out there and really in the mix, you can't really place it. You can't really place it. And I don't try to, and I've been doing it for over 15 years.
That's good. That's good. And back to music. So music's changed a lot since back in the days. Do you prefer this type of music? Like, because honestly, I feel that sometimes they don't even know what they're rapping about anymore. They're just rapping about anything that comes to their mind. So where back in the days, I prefer listening to old songs just because I feel there's a meaning to it. They know what they were trying to get the message out, what kind of message they were trying to get out to right now, nobody knows what they're trying to get out, I feel. How do you feel? Like, would you prefer old music or this type of music, current music?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really listen to a lot of new music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got some guys I like, I like Drake, I like Future, like the typical things. But a lot of my free time, I'm listening to classical music, or I'm listening to jazz, or I'm listening to, even a bit of Frank Ocean, the guys who really, really put the work in to get a point across and create a body of work that has a message attached. So to answer your question, I do prefer that more old school approach. But that's basically what I do. I take that old school approach and that style, and I modernize it, for your sound, for your listening pleasure, rather.
And do you want to be known in this industry, or are you okay with where you're at? Like, do you want millions and millions of followers, or you're okay with just thousands or whatever you're at?
Oh, I'm cool with wherever I'm at. I don't put a gauge on my fan base. I mean, you got to think about it like this. I'm meeting people every day just as a normal person. The typical person that I come in contact with is not coming in contact with me because they think I'm some musician. They just see me and they're like, oh my God, what do you do? So at that point, it doesn't really matter what I do. I could say I'm Jill and I fell off a hill, and they'll be like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is Jill, and she fell off a hill and she's here with us now live. Like, it's, so don't sell yourself short, man. Don't sell yourself short.
And what message would you want to give to your fans that are trying to do what you're doing?
Man, stay encouraged. Believe yourself. Believe yourself. Believe yourself. Believe yourself. Let that be your mantra. Believe yourself. You got to believe you. And, when you believe you, everyone else will believe you. But that takes work. It's not as easy as it sounds. And people make it sound so easy, right? Like, oh, just believe it. Just how you get these people who live these like false lives, who think like they're so great, but no one's around them saying, well, listen, bro, you're not that good. Like, we need you to stop this. So there's a thin line between you believing it and you actually understanding if that's your purpose and if you're in alignment with what that is, because your purpose has to be implemented, So whatever that is, man, just keep the faith, man. Believe you, man. That's what I tell them, man, because I had to believe me, man, and that's how I got here.
That's true. And that's about all we have for today. Can you tell us where your fans and everybody else can find you?
Hey, it's at Lefemme Boue on Instagram, Lefemme Boue on YouTube, LEFEMME BOUE. All handles. Follow me. Check me out. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
No, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And that is all we have for today. You guys could go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my SoundCloud. It's Uncensored with Cesar. And then go ahead and follow me on Instagram at I'mCesarGuerrero.com to stay more updated. Thank you, guys.
Ciao.